What's happening, everyone? It's your boy Count Jinsulu. Welcome to another Pokemon Go video. Today I'm going to be talking about Meteor Mash. Of course, this is the Community Day exclusive move for Metagross. This was confirmed recently through a series of tweets, as well as a tweet from Pkmnmasterholly. Of course, she was one of the YouTubers to get footage of Meteor Mash in action, so we can kind of gauge what it will do, what it will be like, and how much damage it will output, what the cast time is, different things like that. And with all of that information, we can determine how strong this move actually is. So on the Sylph Road Reddit, we have user TuskX who did an analysis of Pkmnmasterholly's video, and what we can determine is that Meteor Mash will deal 90 damage and will have a 2.7 second cast time. This essentially makes it a clone of Dynamic Punch, which of course is Machamp's super powerful fighting type move. Now do keep in mind that this is tentative. Of course, just like Charizard with Blast Burn, they could potentially nerf this right before Community Day even happens. But with the information that we have right now, we could determine whether or not Metagross with Meteor Mash is going to be a game changer, and I actually think it will be. Now, if we're talking about just straight DPS, Metagross will be outperformed by several Pokemon, of course Pokemon like Gengar, but what I actually want to do is compare Metagross's TDO with all of the other Pokemon. I actually think TDO is a more important statistic. So if we look at Meteor Mash on Metagross, it actually gives him a ridiculously high TDO. This is actually TDO that's comparable to Pokemon like Mewtwo with Confusion and Shadow Ball, which of course is one of the strongest attackers in the game right now. With a lot of Pokemon like Blissey and Snorlax getting nerfed as gym defenders, Metagross could actually take the crown as one of the top gym defenders, mainly because it will have a really high TDO, as well as a really high defense stat and really high stamina stats. So what this means is that you need to collect as many Beldum as you can this Sunday so that you could have as many Metagross as you can with Meteor Mash, because he could potentially be a great defender, and you will not want to miss out on that, because of course with these exclusive moves, this is your only chance at getting them. If you remember from Larvitar's Community Day, a lot of players are kicking themselves right now because they didn't get more Larvitars with Stone Edge and Smackdown. I think this is something that a lot of players are hoping for nowadays with trades. Tyranitar with Smackdown and Stone Edge is just ridiculously strong, and you do not want to miss out this time. I actually think Meteor Mash will be one of the best moves that Metagross will ever get. So on top of him being a phenomenal gym defender, on top of him becoming a phenomenal gym attacker, he could also potentially be a very powerful Pokemon for PvP. Now the reason why I say this is mainly because Metagross has a Steel typing and a Psychic typing, and his move Meteor Mash will be a Steel type. Now why is this important? Well, that's because in PvP, I expect to see Fairy types actually become extremely relevant. Now the reason why Fairy types are extremely relevant when PvP comes out is because of the type advantage that certain Pokemon will have, like Gardevoir for example. With Psychic and Fairy types, there's going to be very few counters, so expect to see Gardevoir be a very top tier Pokemon when it comes to PvP. And what are the big counters to Fairy types? It's Steel types. So Meteor Mash is going to be extremely valuable even into the future. This is definitely a Pokemon you do not want to miss out on. One more thing I forgot to mention, Steel type also has an advantage over Ice types as well as Rock types, which if you look at the current pool of Ice types and Rock types, this could actually be really useful. This means that Metagross could actually be a very solid go-to in the future when more Ice types and more Rock types start appearing as raid bosses. And of course with Pokemon like Piloswine coming into the fray, Piloswine could actually be a very solid defender, and you will need a really good Metagross to counter that, because on top of fire types and on top of other types, Steel types are very versatile, mainly because there's not too many Pokemon that can counter Steel types, and Steel types do counter a lot of other Pokemon. And on top of that, Metagross also has Psychic as a type, so he's going to be extremely useful. So yeah. When it comes to a community day that's going to have relevance in the meta, this is as close as it's going to get to SmackDown Tyranitar. So make sure you stock up on all of the items, get as many Beldum as you possibly can. This is going to be an extremely important one, especially right before PvP comes out. Because like I said, when PvP comes out, there's going to be a lot of Pokemon that are going to be relevant. And in order to counter those Pokemon, you will need a really strong Steel type. And of course, Pokemon like Aggron are already really strong Steel types, but nothing is as close as powerful as Metagross will be with Meteor Mash. Now I want to curb expectations because like I said, they could hit Meteor Mash with a powerful nerf. And on top of that, he may not necessarily be the #1 generalist. That crown still goes to Rayquaza, but he is still going to be extremely useful. Again, he's going to be a very well-rounded Pokemon to use. And on top of that, he's not legendary, so he can be used as a defender. And assuming that they're going to have restrictions on the amount of legendaries that you could use in PvP, he's going to be extremely relevant there as well. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. Curb your expectations because of course they could nerf Meteor Mash and the video analysis could be way off as well. So we really just have to wait and see, but do not miss out on this community day. This is an important one. It's going to be extremely meta relevant, and Meteor Mash is definitely a move I'm excited for. Let's just see how everything goes. If I were to make a suggestion right before community day, I would suggest hatching as many 10-kilometer eggs as you possibly can, and then saving up a whole bunch of 10-kilometer eggs for the day of community day, because of course we do have that quarter distance for hatching eggs, which is going to be extremely useful when you're actually playing and walking around catching Beldum. You'll be able to hatch eggs a lot faster. So if you save up 10-kilometer eggs and incubate them as soon as community day starts, because of course this bonus will only take into effect for any eggs that are starting to hatch once you start community day. Make sure you keep that in mind because I've made that mistake in the past, but it's going to be your best way of getting Beldums, and high IV Beldums are going to be extremely valuable. Shiny Beldum, of course, is going to be very much sought after, but I would say that IVs are going to be more important because of the meta relevance. It's a lot like what Larvitar was during Larvitar Community Day. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, what you think about Meteor Mash. If you think these numbers are accurate, how powerful do you think Meteor Mash will be? I'm super excited about this community day. I'm gonna be doing it at Lincoln Park Zoo. Of course, it's freezing cold right now in Chicago, but that's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna get my winter jacket, I'm gonna get my gloves on and just catch as many Beldum as I possibly can. I haven't been this excited for a community day since Larvitar, so you can imagine like this is gonna be a really big one. And the fact that it's on Sunday, which means all the people who work on Saturdays will have a chance at getting a really powerful Beldum with Meteor Mash. I'm excited about this one. I think Niantic is just knocking it out of the park. And I think this should be a staple for every single community day, but we're going to be getting an hour after community day in order to evolve Metagrosses. I think this is a really great thing because honestly, I don't want to waste the last 15 minutes just looking through IVs and seeing which one I should evolve, because evolving actually takes quite a lot of time, and I did miss out on some Tyranitars from Larvitar Community Day, mainly because I just did not give them enough time to evolve. So I'm really glad that Niantic is doing this. But this is gonna be it for this video, folks. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that little bell so you stay up to date on when I upload videos. And yeah, leave a like on this video if you ended up enjoying it. I am Pkmnmasterholly, and I will catch you all later.